We've got our first doubleheader matchup here in the 2023 NFL season, starting off with the New Orleans Saints traveling to their divisional rival in Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young looking to redeem himself after his first start as an NFL quarterback here, going up against New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr is undefeated with the Saints after a nail-biting victory over the Tennessee Titans. 16-15. Super exciting game. It's going to be a lot of fun because both of these teams, as a Falcons fan, objectively, I think are kind of starting to tilt in the other direction. I think the Panthers are on their way up, while I think the Saints are trying to hang on and start to tilt, and are starting to tilt more downwards, getting closer to a rebuild. In my opinion, I know Saints won and the Panthers lost last week, but still, I want to hear your opinions on this game and what each team has to do coming into week 2 and leaving with a victory.
Yeah, this to me is one of the closest matchups of week 2. The Carolina Panthers, I think they need to keep Bryce Young upright in the pocket, give him time to make his reads and make the right throw. And then they need to play really solid defense. And that's kind of what happened in the Falcons game, but they got set up for the end for a late touchdown pass to Kyle Pitts, I believe. And so they just need to play disciplined football for 60 minutes. And it is hard with a rookie quarterback. The Patriots were in this boat a couple years ago with Mac Jones. I think Bryce Young has more physical tools than rookie Mac Jones, but to me, they're similar style quarterbacks. And they have to play perfect football. You can't get behind the sticks with penalties or sacks. You got to play stingy defense. And to me, I think the Saints come in and they just need to blow it open early. They had 305 passing yards against a Titans defense, who I will say they have a good front, but that secondary is not super great. So definitely, I think a better defense in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to come in, blow it open early, and take a lead and put the Panthers in a position to be playing from behind. So that for me, I think, is kind of the interesting dynamic of this game. I don't think either of these teams showed really what they could do in week 1, mainly because it is week 1. So I think this will be a better representation of how these teams will fare throughout the rest of the season. Yeah. So you being in the NFC South as a Falcons fan, how do you see this game playing out?
So the Saints' offensive line is not good, and they're going to be going up against another really good defensive front. And you hit the nail on the head, too, by the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans were able to get after Derek Carr and that offensive line. But then with how weak their secondary is, Derek Carr was still able to have, I believe it was like 300-plus yard.
305.
Yeah. The Panthers, and an injury just to watch, J.C. Horn. I believe he's dealing with a hamstring injury. Let me just double check.
He's listed as doubtful.
Yeah. So he did not come back in that game. He was grabbing his hammy halfway through that Falcons game. But in general, though, this Panthers defense is much more well-rounded. And I think one of the things as well that the Saints are going to have trouble with is Brian Burns and the defensive front was giving this Falcons offensive line a very tough time, especially in the first 3 quarters of the game. And the Falcons' offensive line is significantly better than the Saints' O-line. So I think that's going to be a storyline to watch. But at the same time, though, as well, the Saints have a good defense as well, just as good a secondary as the Falcons do. And Bryce Young threw several picks to Jesse Bates in the Week 1 matchup. So we'll have to see if he keeps learning and developing from there. And kind of the same thing, the Panthers have statistically, and according to PFF, a little bit better offensive line. They're a little more middle of the road, while the Saints are definitely more closer to the rear, about 26th, 27th overall in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So I think they'll be able to hold their own a little bit more against Cameron Jordan and company. But it's going to be curious, though, how Bryce Young reacts to this experienced secondary with Marshawn Lattimore leading the way, who also had a good game against the Tennessee Titans. But also, that's not saying much as well, because Ryan Tannehill, I think his days are numbered. So it'll be a very interesting matchup. I am going to lean towards the Panthers at home. First game, Derek Carr with the Saints on the road in a divisional rivalry territory. I think Chris Olave is going to have a good game, just naturally, just with the way that they want to throw. But I think this defense is just going to give them a little bit too much to handle overall. I think they're going to struggle to run the ball, especially too with Kendrick Miller and then Jamal Williams. Yeah. Is that his name? Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I blanked on his name. He's one of my favorite players. But I just think this is just going to be one where they're going to bounce back. I also think, too, Bryce Young is going to be a little more comfortable in a home environment, going to learn from his mistakes.
It'll be nice and quiet for him.
Nice and quiet as well. That help understand to read the defense. But it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to have like a 17-14 type victory. I just think, especially with the Saints, with how they do have good weapons, but this offensive line is just going to hinder them. I don't see Derek Carr exploding in too many games. He's going to have a lot of passing yards, but I just feel like they're not going to have too many long touchdown drives just with the weakness of this offensive line.
Yeah, I was unsure coming into this video who I was picking, and I feel like I should be picking the Saints, but I am going to go with the better defense here because this offensive line for the Saints is not good, and Bryce Young will be in a better environment to be conducting an offense, right? It's going to be quiet. He'll be able to make adjustments at the line of scrimmage. He'll be able to communicate with the coaches really well. And I think that was just some of what he struggled with last week. Not that the Falcon Stadium is like the loudest in the NFL or anything like that. I just think being on a road environment, especially in a divisional matchup where those are usually higher energy than a normal on the road matchup, that's a tough start. So I am going to go with the Panthers as well, but I think it's going to be low scoring too. It's going to be really close. This game's kind of a coin flip.
It's definitely a coin flip. I can see this going either way. Like, I'd love to hear from Saints fans why you think that they're going to win the game. Love to hear from Panthers fans as well. Leave a comment down below and let us know why you think your team's going to win, because this is going to be a fun game. I think another thing too, because I also predicted this all summer as well, that I think the Panthers are just on a better trajectory than the Saints are. I think the Saints are in a downturn, or at least just still saying stagnant. And well, I think the Panthers, I think are more optimistic. I'm more optimistic for the Panthers' future, just with some of the moves that they're making and getting just a younger quarterback who is now more modern day mobile quarterback. So it's going to be a good game to watch. We're going to be in Hilton Head watching the other Monday night game at the Browns Backers Bar with my wife and daughter. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Be going back and forth between each game because both games are going to be good.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this Monday Night Football matchup. Is it going to be the New Orleans Saints? Is it going to be the Carolina Panthers? Let us know what you think. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.